This is you. You're staring at a beaker filled with a crystalline compound that shouldn't exist, and the price tag for your genius is a gun pointed at the back of your skull. Sounds like Tuesday, mostly because 3 months ago, you were just another overqualified chemistry PhD washing glassware in a university lab for poverty wages. But now? Now you're the cartel's golden goose, and the only thing keeping you alive is the fact that nobody else on Earth can replicate what's inside your brain. Your hands aren't shaking anymore. That's the scary part. The first week you were here, you couldn't hold a pipette without spilling half the solution. Your heart would hammer every time boots echoed down the concrete hallway. You'd flinch at every slammed door, every raised voice, every gunshot that cracked through the compound walls. But the human brain is built different. It adapts. After 72 days of cooking poison for monsters, your nervous system just accepted this as normal. Welcome to your new career in pharmaceutical innovation, CARTEL Edition. The lab they've set up for you is actually impressive, and that makes it worse somehow. When they first dragged you here with a black bag over your head, you expected some dirty basement with improvised equipment and contaminated reagents. Instead, you walked into a facility that would make most university research departments weep with envy. Industrial-grade fume hoods, precision scales accurate to the microgram, a gas chromatography mass spectrometry system worth more than your childhood home. The cartel didn't get rich by being stupid. They know that cutting corners on lab equipment means cutting corners on product quality, and in their business, quality control is the difference between empire and extinction. Let's rewind the tape to understand how a straight A student who wanted to cure cancer ended up as a narco-chemist. 6 months ago, you were drowning in student debt, working as an adjunct professor, making less than a bartender, while watching your undergraduate students scroll TikTok through your lectures on organic chemistry. Your PhD thesis on novel synthetic pathways for pharmaceutical compounds gathered dust on a university server that maybe 12 people had ever accessed. You were brilliant, broke, and bitter about the fact that society values Instagram influencers more than scientists who actually understand how molecules work. Then your younger brother got diagnosed with leukemia. Stage 3. The treatment cost was astronomical, and your insurance had more loopholes than coverage. You needed money fast, and the legal economy had nothing to offer someone with your skill set except more poverty with a side of crippling debt. So when a former classmate reached out with an offer to consult on some freelance chemistry work for clients who valued discretion, you knew exactly what he meant. You told yourself it was just once. Just enough to cover the first round of treatment. The classic lie every criminal tells themselves before they realize there's no such thing as just once. Your first job was simple on paper. Analyze a synthetic opioid sample and suggest modifications to increase potency while reducing production costs. You delivered a detailed report with 3 viable molecular variations, each one a masterpiece of applied chemistry. The clients were impressed. So impressed that they decided you weren't a consultant anymore. You were an asset. And assets don't get to quit. They get to keep breathing only as long as they're useful. The abduction was professional. They grabbed you outside your apartment building at 3 a.m. 3 guys in tactical gear, moving with military precision. No witnesses, no struggle, no trace. They didn't hurt you because damaged goods cook inferior products. Instead, they explained the new employee benefits package. Your brother's treatments would be fully covered. Your mother would receive a generous monthly stipend, and you'd get to keep living. The catch? You belong to them now. Your brain, your knowledge, your chemistry expertise, all property of the organization. Refuse, and your family learns what happens to people who waste the cartel's time and money. So you made the deal with the devil, telling yourself you'd find a way out eventually. But here's the kicker about working for a cartel. Every day you survive is another chain around your neck. Every successful synthesis is proof you're too valuable to release, but too dangerous to trust. You're Schrödinger's prisoner, simultaneously essential and expendable. The boss walks in, flanked by his personal guard. He's not what Hollywood taught you to expect. No gold chains, no flashy suits. He dresses like a corporate executive because that's essentially what he is. CEO of a multinational criminal enterprise with better profit margins than Apple. He looks at the beaker with the crystalline compound, and then at you with eyes that have watched men die and felt absolutely nothing. "Tell me," he says in perfect English with just a hint of accent, "what makes this one different from the last batch?" You take a breath, switching into professor mode, because explaining chemistry is the one thing that still feels normal. Traditional synthetic opioids bind to mu-opioid receptors in the brain, creating euphoria and pain relief. But they also suppress respiratory function, which is why overdoses kill people. They literally forget to breathe. What I've created here is a selective agonist that maintains the euphoric effects while minimizing respiratory depression. It's approximately 30 times more potent than fentanyl, but with a significantly wider therapeutic window. The boss's eyes light up like a venture capitalist who just heard a pitch for the next unicorn startup. Translation for those of us who barely passed high school chemistry: it gets users higher than anything on the market, but it's harder to overdose on. Your customers get addicted faster and die slower. It's the holy grail of drug design from a business perspective. Maximum dependency with optimal customer retention. The words taste like ash in your mouth, but you've learned to compartmentalize. You're not creating poison. You're solving a molecular puzzle. The fact that your puzzle pieces are destroying lives is just background noise you've trained yourself to ignore. That's the lie you tell yourself at 3 a.m. when sleep won't come, and your conscience tries to stage a hostile takeover of your thoughts. "How long until we can scale production?" he asks, and you hear the hunger in his voice. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about market domination. Whoever controls the supply of the most addictive, least lethal opioid wins the drug war, and winning means generational wealth built on an ocean of human misery. 2 weeks for the full synthesis protocol. Another week to establish quality control parameters and train your production team. After that, you can manufacture this at industrial scale. The boss claps you on the shoulder like you just hit a home run in the company softball league. "Outstanding work, Doctor. When this launches, you're getting a bonus. What do you want? A new car? A beach house? Name it. What do you want? You want to go back in time and choose literally any other career path. You want your brother to be healthy without selling your soul. You want to wake up from this nightmare in your shitty apartment with nothing worse to worry about than grading undergraduate lab reports. But those aren't options on the menu. Just keep covering my brother's treatments," you say quietly, and the boss nods like you're a loyal employee instead of a hostage with a chemistry degree. He leaves, and you're alone with your creation. The compound sits there, innocent and crystalline, beautiful in its molecular perfection. You've just engineered the deadliest drug in human history, and the only people who know the complete synthesis pathway are you, and whatever notes the cartel has locked in a safe somewhere. You're the only person who can reproduce this with consistent purity, which means you're simultaneously the most protected and most endangered person in this organization. Think about it. What happens when you finish training the production team? When your specialized knowledge becomes redundant? The cartel doesn't offer retirement packages with pension plans. They offer shallow graves in the desert. Your phone buzzes, a secured line they gave you for emergencies only. It's a text from an unknown number. "We know what you're creating. We can extract you and your family. Reply, yes." Your blood freezes. DEA? FBI? A rival cartel trying to poach you? Or a trap set by your current employers to test your loyalty? Every option is a potential death sentence, just with different execution methods. You stare at the message for 30 seconds that feel like 30 years. Your thumb hovers over the keyboard. One word could change everything. Or end everything. There's no way to verify who sent this. No way to know if replying is salvation or suicide. The door opens suddenly. One of the guards, the one who always watches you with suspicious eyes, steps inside. "Everything okay, Doctor? You look pale." Your heart is trying to jackhammer its way out of your ribcage, but your voice comes out steady. "Just tired. Long day of synthesis." He nods, but his hand rests casually on his sidearm. "Boss says you're done for today. Get some rest. Big day tomorrow. We're bringing in the production team for training." tomorrow. Your expiration date just got moved up. Once they learn the process, your value drops from essential to optional. You delete the text message, but the question burns in your brain like acid. Do you reply to the unknown number and gamble everything on a rescue that might be a trap? Or do you stay silent and become the architect of an epidemic that'll kill thousands while you wait for the cartel to decide you're a loose end worth tying up? You walk back to your quarters, a converted storage room with a cot and a chair, and sit in the dark, thinking about the chemistry of impossible choices. The beaker of crystalline death sits in the lab, waiting for tomorrow. And you sit in your cell, waiting for a decision that'll determine if you're remembered as a victim or a villain. Or maybe just another casualty of the drug war, forgotten before the first news cycle ends. Checkmate.